Once we just got another insane overhaul. We'll go over the entire graphics update and optimizations there, and that is a host of improvements from character performance to lighting and effects in certain scenes, and even some new animations and poses. On top of that, we do have an update preview for 2.0, and this does clarify a few things from my previous video. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, World Dystopia here, back with another video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. So first off here, yes, the game is getting another graphics performance overhaul, which does include an exclusive sneak peek here at some exciting surprises from the developers, where they do mention that this is an ongoing mission to increase performance and enhance the graphics. The team has been working tirelessly to implement a comprehensive upgrade in current areas of visual concern. And yes, this finally does include those character lighting visuals. So as you can see here, some of those before and after images of the new character lighting. So now when you do create your character, it won't look that much different in game. They are addressing that poor lighting and harsh sunlight in certain and various environments, where they have both optimized the lighting and accuracy of character visuals in this update, again as referenced in these before and after images. They also do mention that in terms of model accuracy, every aspect from hair movement to skin textures has undergone a complete overhaul, which on top of that, the character customization interface has greatly improved in its presentation, also ensuring that characters no longer fall into the uncanny valley from players' perspectives. And additionally here, even at the lowest graphics settings, performance has been significantly boosted. Where again here you can see the before and after visual of this. The texture of the clothing, the three-dimensionality of characters, and the details of makeup have been notably enhanced. This should ensure that players can enjoy a satisfying visual experience even on lower-end devices. On top of characters, yes, this also does regard scene performance. In this new version, it has been enhanced with more refined lighting and visual effects, also significantly boosting the realism of the environments. Again, a before and after imagery here, you can see that it actually appears darker inside of a building when it would comparative to the lighting, and it does give that more realistic feel rather than the fog effect. This also does apply to pitch black scenarios and environments, where previously it acted like this, the before and after, and in this new environment, the darker areas now showcase layers of detail that should closely resemble what the naked eye perceives. So again, it isn't just a flat representation visual there, you are getting some more lighting effects with the fire, as you can see on the side here, and it does almost give like ray tracing aspects to it. As I did mention, on top of this, we're getting optimizations for the female character animations and poses. Again, they do a full showcase here of the before and after. This has been something they've been working on for a while. They changed the sit animations and a few others, but now this also does apply to running and walking, which even extends to different weapons and melee weapons, as you can see here, the before and after. So they have added a lot more feminine traits to the characters. We'll have to see if maybe they do beef up the other side of things. I would like to see a selectable option with walking animations, especially for both female and male characters. I think that can add some dynamic. A lot of games actually do have that, where you can change your walk animation. I would love to see that for both of the varieties there of male and female. Would be cool to eventually see something like that, but I am glad they are fine-tuning this. On top of all this, and everything getting optimized, we are getting an update to the photo mode. They have now added support for pausing and speed actions. As you can see here, you can completely freeze frame your character, doing different actions and different emotes, or you can get some really cool effects with this one. They've also added a new 9-grid guide with customizable aspect ratios and enhancements. So you see here, you have a ton of different selections here. Original ratio, 16:9, 3:2, 4:3, and 1:1. So on top of the 9-grid system there, you can also change the aspect ratio, and you can also turn off the guidelines if you don't want those either. Now, there is a bit of a confusing part here. Some of these are currently marked with mobile, and some are marked with cross-platform. Although, again, they also say this here as a closing statement. The above optimizations will also be updated on the PC version. The development team is committed to continuing their efforts across all platforms, and they're trying to actively address that feedback. So again, some of this stuff might only go to mobile at the start. That might include the lighting features that we just saw there, as those are the ones that are marked with mobile scenes. But the optimizations to animations and photo mode are marked with cross-platform. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe this lighting adjustment does eventually come to PC in a later update. Maybe it is there on release. Again, I hope they kind of clarify that one. But since they kind of encapsulate it here by saying the above optimizations will also be updated on the PC version, I assume it will be there either on release or sooner than later. Moving on here, we have some corrections and additional information on the Dreamvale 2.0 update. The first one is a bit of a correction here. I did mention in the previous video that they are bringing in this new system, and I had some text saying basically essentially goodbye to the Mamatic system. although I do believe the nomadic system will still be there. They haven't clarified that entirely, but through some rough translations, it could have swayed either way there. More than likely, I do believe the nomadic system is going to stay in Once Human. It is just going to be sidelined, or at least not as prioritized as the new system. So it might just be that this new system, a new progression system with the professions, will just be baked on top as another layer to it. That is at least my guess with it overall. Again, it could be one way or the other. I hope they do actually clarify this, as some stuff can be contradictory, at least in terms of some abilities that the nomadic system does provide. Maybe those will be nerfed or adjusted. Hopefully they do unveil that sometime soon. Although again, jumping back to it, we do have that Dream Veil 2.0 annual update preview. We are of course getting a full release of the 1.0 scenarios and the new spin-off raid zone. So as I mentioned here, they just go over a few things with that. Most of you already know what's going on with Endless Dream. It has full map access, so you can build freely. The Strained system has been introduced, where you're purifying dream zones. Most of you by now have probably tried Endless Dream, or at least seen some showcases of it. So we'll move on from that section here, but we do have some optimizations that are player-driven improvements. They did give some cool stats here for the community impact on early release. There was over 288,000 people that played Endless Dream, with 6.8 million hours played, and they have a total of 33 major improvements here from 3,500 suggestions. They have now again added teleportation that's now allowed in dream zones. Early mid-game enemy strength has been reduced. Not sure how I feel on that one. It was quite hard at the very beginning, but I actually did enjoy that change, since Once Human does feel a little bit too easy at the start nowadays with all your upgrades. They had some dungeon and challenge fixes here with damage bugs, silo monolith enemies have been rebalanced, and the dreamer fights have been more simplified. Wilderness also saw some improvements with the tutorial and safe zones that have been added for the level 10 to 20 areas. Strongholds now more immersive, and the building vehicle damage has also been reduced. Basically, where your vehicle is being destroyed inside dream zones quite easily, especially when it was lightning. Resources have also been boosted in dungeons, and crystals will now spawn again in safe areas. They do actually have some in-development upcoming features here. For Dream Zone or Endless Dream, they have the zone purification system, where you'll be able to clear nightmares without removing the resources. That should allow for players to join up into a scenario at any point in time and be able to level up through it, as if you get there too late, those resources usually are depleted. The zones will now evolve and you'll be able to evade new regions. There's going to be some new random events and deviations. Morph deviations are also incoming with unique gameplay every season. And they do mention for the visual wheel Endless Dream one, it is now currently in the final stage. Again, these improvements are upcoming and still in development. On the permanent server side of things, Endless Dream and the Way of Winter are now getting permanent servers, where on top of that, characters, resources, and your territory buildings will now carry over to that, if you do plan on staying on a permanent server. They do mention that dream zones will evolve independently on permanent servers than regular ones. Thermal towers will also have their levels preserved in the Way of Winter, and the public ones will be maxed by default. So if you do plan on playing a permanent version of Endless Dream or Way of Winter, those are the new additional changes. We do have one more last minute mentionable here, which is of course a shop update and Lightforge Loot Crate update. We have the Abyssal Finale that will be available sometime soon. In fact, I believe it's about a day and a few hours from now, at least for when that 3-pack Lightforge Loot Crate does end. They also do mention that you get back the full value in Christogen with your new purchase. So they do have that super value pack login that's going to be happening. And if you log in for multiple days, you'll get continued rewards with a total of 314% rebate. So there is a ton of sales happening right now with the summer sale, and which will also be coinciding with this new Lightforge Loot Crate. Overall, that's what I'll cover for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuces!